Okay, nicotine patches and autism. Let's talk about it. I had a friend of mine send me a video of a guy who was talking about the effects of nicotine patches on autistic individuals, and of course it got me intrigued, so I immediately went to PubMed, started looking for studies, and here we are. Now, before we dive into it, I need to let you know that after reading through the entire study, this was a small study, there were only 8 individuals that were studied, all of which were adults, which means they were 18 or older, and they also had severe autism. Now, that doesn't mean that the study does not show a lot of promise, because it really did, and I'll explain later. But just so you know, this is not a wide, very large nationwide study. There were literally 8 individuals. Believe that they started with 19 and 11 were eliminated. They ended up with a final 8, and that's what we're going to talk about. Also, to note, you can see these were the ones who participated in the study. They are all over the age of 18, and they are also already on a medication for anger. So all of these individuals had significant anger issues that were already being treated. However, the results were incredible. Absolutely incredible. In fact, most of the people who were on this, their caregivers continued to give them nicotine patches even after the study was over. Now, the study also was only using the 7 milligram nicotine patch. So if you were looking at nicotine patches in like CVS or whatever, you got like step 1, step 2, and step 3. This would be your step 3. So this is the lowest dose of 7 milligrams. And majority of all participants saw a significant reduction in anger. The study did note, however, that long-term use, because some of the people who participated in the study had such incredible results that the caregivers continued giving them nicotine patches because of what an improvement they had in aggression. So due to that, they kept giving it, but they did notice that nicotine is one of those things that can create some desensitization. So it's one of those things that you're probably going to need to cycle on and off of course, with guidance of a doctor. So how this works is that the nicotine is actually going to increase your nicotine acetylcholine receptors. So what it does is it stimulates those pathways, it opens up those transmitters, and then your body is able to produce its own acetylcholine. And that's where we're seeing this open pathway is what is actually helping these individuals with their behavior and aggression. Now, if you followed me for a while, I talk about acetylcholine talk with children, because acetylcholine is essential for language development. So I would love to see the study repeated with younger children, especially those that maybe are gestalt learners, those that are nonverbal, and see if the acetylcholine production from the nicotine would help in their language development. Now, this is not a perfect study. It's the first study that I hope of many, because it does seem very promising, especially if you have a teenager or an adult that is severely on the spectrum, has lots of angry outbursts. Maybe you're considering getting on a scheduled medication for them. I think this is worth trying for sure. I would definitely go to your doctor before, starting a scheduled medicine and say, do we want to try this first? Because I know that as a parent, like the thoughts of having to admit your child because of aggressive behavior is absolutely heartbreaking. So I think it's worth a shot. I think it's worth trying, especially since, nicotine itself is not bad, even though, I come from the no smoking generation. Cigarettes are bad, but, nicotine itself is not horrible. And I think it may be a good alternative to adults, hopefully one day adolescents, with aggression.